everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is HauteLeMode, and today on HauteLeMode we are going to be addressing the age-old question. The age-old is in like the past 6 months question. Are YouTubers deserving of being in the fashion industry? Now, before we get any further into the video, if you guys are looking for a channel that talks about fashion in the most fun, sassy, bitchy, analytical way, this is it. You can go down below, hit the subscribe button, and turn on my post notifications. I mean, like, what you have to lose, you're already here. And if you guys want to see even more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at HauteLeMode. I post some pretty poppin' fashion memes, and my Instagram stories are always pretty lit. And if you want to see even more from me, which, like, why would you want to? But I mean, it's up to you. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at HauteLeMess. I post more of my personal outfits and opinions. Enjoy. Now, yeah, I'm talking about some really big moments here. I wouldn't say big moments as in like great cultural moments that I'm gonna remember for forever. But like, I'm talking about big moments as in big moments for fashion and YouTube coming together. Bam. Explosion of content. So yeah, the question is, do YouTubers deserve to enjoy, work in, and be a part of the fashion industry at large? And now, we don't have a definitive answer. I mean, obviously, if you're a normal human being, you're gonna say like, yes, of course, like a fashion brand can do whatever they want and invite whoever they want to their events and fashion shows and showrooms and whatnot. And YouTubers can, you know, buy as much fashion shit as they want. There is no barring anybody from working with anybody, in a sense. But fashion as I know it is not that easy. Just because you have millions and trillions of dollars to spend on a luxury good does not necessarily mean that Dior or Louis Vuitton or Chanel is going to invite you to their show. And just because you can spend millions and trillions of dollars on fashion doesn't mean that a brand is going to respect you necessarily as a customer. So the fact that major YouTubers like Emma Chamberlain and the Dolan Twins, who get tens of millions of views a month on YouTube, bypass the traditional fashion trajectory is extremely interesting. And the question that really comes into play here is, do they actually deserve it? And I guess deserve coming from the mouth of babes, you know, on Twitter and Instagram, essentially saying that Emma Chamberlain and the Dolan Twins don't deserve to actually go to these things isn't exactly the great word. I think more so you think about the actual economic and advertorial value of inviting the Dolan Twins and Emma Chamberlain to your show or fashion brand or event or whatever. You really want to know, does Emma Chamberlain and the Dolan Twins actually like have a fan base who has a buying power to buy into my luxury brand? Because I mean, that would be the automatic question I'd have if I was literally anybody at Louis Vuitton. I mean, it's not like Emma Chamberlain or the Dolan Twins were like buying from Simone Rocha or Craig Green or, you know, a young American designer like Telfar or Christopher John Rogers. They kind of shot past all of the mumbo jumbo of fashion and went straight to the tippity top. Like, they're literally sitting front row at Louis Vuitton, both men's and women's, respectively, which is kind of a big deal. I have to be honest. And it's kind of even more of a big deal because I work in fashion as much as I work in YouTube. And fashion people, 100%, still don't understand YouTube whatsoever. And that's like not me knocking the fashion people at all. Love my fashion people. Because like, listen, I don't fucking understand half the shit that they do. I mean, cutting, sewing, making patterns, picking out fabrics, counting meters, no clue. So I get why they don't necessarily know about YouTube. It's a whole entire world. But the interesting thing about it is the fact that they don't know who these people are, yet they're rolling up to the premier front row of the premier house in all of fashion. Louis Vuitton is the brand. It is. Like, we can talk about Dior, we can talk about Chanel, we can talk about Fendi. Louis Vuitton, they make the big bucks. They're the richest company. They're the head of the stable of LVMH. It's a big deal to just show up one day randomly and be like, hey, I'm sitting front row. Here I am dressed in Nicolas Ghesquier or Virgil Abloh's latest looks from the runway. Like, it's a big deal. So honestly, I understand why people are like, why are there YouTubers there? I don't understand. Because when I first saw it, I didn't get it. I was like, this is who they chose? This is happening? I'm confused. What? Why? And so I understand what a lot of people are saying. And I also understand the, you know, asking of, do these people actually have fans that are going to buy Louis Vuitton? Is this a smart investment for a brand to fly them out to Paris, to dress them, to make this content? Because as much as Louis Vuitton has to sell, those are all really good questions to be asking. But the more that I've thought about it over the past like 6 to 8 months since Emma Chamberlain, the Dolan Twins, started showing up to these Louis Vuitton shows, the more I think in general, like, yeah, it makes absolute sense why they're there. I mean, I've watched the runway shows, I've watched the Louis Vuitton sponsored videos where, you know, Emma Chamberlain's like, I'm gonna go hang out with Nicola, we're gonna do Soul Cycle.
Also, I would take him to a cycling class. Just, you know, we gotta sweat it out as buddies. It's really important for bonding.
I mean, like, I thought it was super funny because, like, I would love to watch Nicola Gasquet do Soul Cycle, but fashion is never like this. It just doesn't happen, okay? Like, fashion does not get in bed with YouTube. It's just fashion people hate YouTube. For the most part, a lot of the time. They don't respect it. I mean, like, listen, as somebody that, obviously I shit on collections, but like, half them bitches are like, you do what? On where? For what? For For who? Like, they don't get it. So yeah, it's just kind of crazy the fact that Emma Chamberlain and the Dolan Twins are showing up to these things. Now, I will say that the internet also had a lot to say about it. People were like, why? I don't get it. I don't understand. Who thought this was a good idea? I can talk to you about who thought this was a good idea, but I'd rather not waste my time. But it's also like the same person that was responsible for getting James Charles invited to the Met Gala, so do with that what you will. Now, this hate has definitely incurred itself all over the internet. Let me read some of the hate comments. One reads, biggest joke of all time, Emma Chamberlain being sponsored by Louis Vuitton. Many commented really awful hate comments on the Louis Vuitton Beverly Hills event photos that were put on both Emma's and Louis Vuitton's Instagrams. And for the Dolan Twins, somebody said, okay, I love the Dolan Twins, but please somebody tell them that wearing Louis Vuitton monogram pieces is not a personality trait. I mean, listen, I feel like there were much more brutal hate comments that came from like high fashion Twitter who were very upset that they probably weren't invited to these shows. So I think in reality, it's a lot of jealousy from people, but I also don't necessarily feel like those concerns are actually valid though. As somebody that, you know, works in both fashion and YouTube, I personally feel like a lot of the time YouTubers don't get the good end of the stick. I feel like a lot of the time we're treated like shit. I feel like a lot of the time, and I'm not talking about this in terms of like celebrity pop culture, but like if you were to compare me to, let's say, an editor from Harper's Bazaar, that editor would be treated like 75 million times better than me at any event, at any show, at anything. I know because, I mean, part of it is because I talk shit about everybody in fashion, but the other part is that I work in YouTube, and so fashion a lot of times just doesn't deem YouTube as something that actually is viable or something that they care about, although they should not do that because from what I'm understanding, 75% of the current YouTube viewers in the world are ages 18 to 34, and also it seems like Gen Z, who, you know, is also playing into that role and a big watcher of YouTube, also is going to be some of the biggest luxury buyers in the world. So if you know what's good for you, which Louis Vuitton seems to know, is that you should be making impressions with young people who are watching YouTube. Taking sponsors now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But no, seriously, like, YouTube is no game. YouTube is one of the most visited websites in the entire world. It has a range of different nationalities that watch it with all of their own celebrities. I mean, it's crazy. It's a major platform that is very much so untapped by fashion. And where I was going with this is that I don't see Emma Chamberlain or the Dolan Twins or Rickey Thompson for Alexander Wang or James Charles at the Met Gala as something that shouldn't be allowed. Listen, people like Emma Chamberlain and the Dolan Twins have no concept about fashion whatsoever. You watch the Louis Vuitton videos.
I love these. What do I say about them?
The girl's got no idea. And you know what? I could be mad about that, But Margot Robbie doesn't know shit about Chanel. Like, none of these celebrities know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, you watch the interviews where they ask any celebrity at any fashion show, oh, what did you think? I thought this bag was so pretty. It's so pretty. It's so cute. Oh, I'd wear everything in this collection. It's so good. Carl is a mastermind. Like, the girls don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So why would I be mad at the Dolan Twins and Emma Chamberlain for also not knowing what they're talking about? And also, these girls, listen, 40 million views in a month. Like, that's nothing to joke about, okay? Like, it's nothing to joke about. It's serious advertising weight. Like, they're pulling weight in the YouTube internet industry. It 100% makes absolute sense why they would be there. And like, you know me, I'm not a staunch defender of anybody, but I personally don't think that they deserve the hate that they get for showing up to these events. I'm not saying that I love everything that's happening. I mean, listen, Emma Chamberlain and the outfits from Louis Vuitton give me severe anxiety, and whoever styles her for when it's happening, stop, please. Somebody just get her somebody that's gonna be like, don't let them put you in that. Like, let her get more options, please. But I do think that she should be there. I think that YouTube is a major factor in the world of media, and that YouTubers are incredibly influential. I don't know necessarily if Emma Chamberlain's fan base is going to go out and buy Louis Vuitton, or if the Dolan Twins' fan base is going to go out and buy Louis Vuitton. But I also feel like if you're just building little increments in people's heads that to a new generation, Louis Vuitton is still something that is extremely exclusive. They dress the biggest celebrities of your generation. If you're 15, 14, 13, you know, these kids are major. So it makes absolute sense. And it's actually an incredibly brilliant, you know, marketing plan, which is not something that's going to turn around in a day, I don't think. They're not going to be making their money back instantly, but I think it's just a slow way for Louis Vuitton and all of LVMH to continue to input the idea that Louis Vuitton is luxury. Louis Vuitton is, you know, this heightened thing that celebrities of every generation have worn. It's a legacy. It's a big brand with a lot of quality goods who invite the biggest and most wonderful people in the world to their shows, in a sense. So I get why they're there, and I don't really see the issue with them actually being there in terms of doing what every other celebrity who's ever been invited to a fashion show does. You know, I don't think that they always look great, as I've already said. I also don't think that they shouldn't be there. I think they should absolutely be there. They are doing their jobs, and that is what their job is to show up at fashion shows. And so I just personally am happy to see it, because it's one little inch closer for YouTube and fashion to come together. Is it necessarily the thing that I was expecting for YouTube and fashion to come together about? No, but he worked on, hopefully. Nicola shells out like 10 good looks a year, so hopefully Emma will end up in one of them. And yeah, maybe one of the Dolan Twins will look nice in one of the Virgil Abloh designed luggage bags. Who knows? So those are all my thoughts on this whole idea of YouTubers deserving to be in fashion. Yeah, it makes sense. It's literally just like every other celebrity ever. I don't really know why they're getting the hate that they're getting, except for the fact that they work in YouTube. But let me tell you, working in YouTube is not always easy, so fuck the haters. Please let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. I'd love to hear all of your opinions on this, you know, pretty big and momentous moment for fashion and YouTube to come together. I'd love to hear all your thoughts. I will see you guys on the next video, and TTYL.